AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Los Boston Celtics are finito. Wow, wow, wow. Why are the Boston Celtics finito, Kendrick? Kendrico Federico. Why?
No one in the NBA is scared right now of the Boston Celtics. I'm just letting you know this. This is why the New York Knicks went out and they went and got Mikal Bridges and they upgraded their roster. This is why the Philadelphia 76ers went out and got Paul George and upgraded their roster. They're coming into training camp feeling great. And to be honest with you, let's be real, a lot of people was looking at the path that the Celtics went through to win the NBA championship and say that they actually had an easy path for the competition and the teams that they played that were not healthy. So again, I love it that the Celtics are coming in with a chip on their shoulder, especially the two young superstars in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Whether that's because they have a beef with the Olympics, like Jason Tatum said, the best thing that happened, one of the best things that happened was him not winning the Finals MVP. I think we're going to get a better version of Jason Tatum. But at the end of the day, teams did stack up in the rest of the league, and especially in the Eastern Conference, to go look the Celtics eye to eye, and they're going to do that this season. It's a reason that we're on this streak right now where teams haven't repeated. It's hard. Teams are getting better every single offseason.
So that was Kendrick Perkins on basically everyone in the NBA has gotten better, and the Celtics have pretty much stayed the same. And shout out to Sean Bernard, because I love this comment that he made. Sean Bernard,
man.
Sean Bernard, he's a Philly sports media aficionado.
He tapped in with us. He tapped in with us a few months back during the playoffs. So big shout out to Sean Bernard. Go ahead.
We're gonna have him tap back in. His response to that Kendrick Perkins comment was, did everyone just decide the goal of the offseason is to give the Celtics as much bulletin board material as possible? Which was my thoughts exactly. Also, I see Jason Tatum speaking to what Joe Mazzulla told him when he first seen him in the offseason, this past offseason.
That's what you mean. That's part of it, yeah. Motivation. I guess you could say that if you want to simplify it. In real time, it was tough. But it's and Joe, I talk to Joe a lot. Joe was probably the happiest person in the world that I didn't win Finals MVP and that I didn't play in 2 of the games in the Olympics. So that was odd, but if you know Joe, it makes sense.
Jason Tatum speaking about not winning the Finals MVP and not playing in 2 Olympic games. It seemed like it was bothering him, and he was speaking to his coach Joe Mazzulla all summer or for some time. He said, and I don't know if you can hear the audio, but he to quote Jason Tatum, he said he talked to Joe Mazzulla a lot. Joe was probably the happiest person in the world that he didn't win the Finals MVP and didn't get to play in 2 Olympic games. He found that odd, but if you know his coach Joe Mazzulla, it makes sense. It feels like ever since they drafted Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it's always been a Jason Tatum versus Jaylen Brown thing. That's resurfaced this summer, especially with Jaylen Brown missing the Olympics because of the Nike controversy and conspiracy. But Flea, it does feel like everybody's just piling on and trying to make this a Lakers, Kobe Bryant and Shaq situation and trying to bring drama to this team that with 2 guys who could probably be all NBA next year, and they're motivating the hell out of somebody that I always said always needs to player motivation. I'm getting sick of this, Flea.
Bro, they won the championship. They won the championship. Lord have mercy. Like, they won an NBA championship. And the way that it's talked about this Celtics team is as if they're still on the cusp of winning a championship. This team won 64 games last year, right?
After being on the cusp for so many years, broke through.
This team won 64 or 66, whatever. It was 60 plus games they won last season. 60 plus. They did not lose more than 20 games last season, including the playoffs. Yo, you play who's in front of you, man. You play who's in front of you. There's plenty of NBA Finals runs and NBA championship runs that were more difficult, and there's plenty of runs that were absolutely a cakewalk. There's plenty. We can go back. The research is there. Go do your homework. Y'all know what I always say. Go do your homework. It's there. So okay, they didn't. What was their road? Miami first round. No, excuse me. No, Miami first round. Cleveland second round. And Indiana third round.
All injured.
All three teams were dealing with injuries. And then they get up, then they see Dallas, who was probably the hottest team in the NBA. And they took care of them. I'm not interested, be honest with you, Fabe. I'm not interested in the soap opera that they're trying to create. Look what I did there, soap opera. We talked about the soaps. You know what I did. But full circle. I'm not interested in the soap opera that they're trying to create with those two guys. Those two guys are young guys. Those two guys come to play every year. They never dogging it. Like, do we want Tatum to be different, right? Do I not want him to be a 6'10" Steph Curry? Absolutely. I don't need him to be a 6'10" Steph Curry. I need you to be Jason Tatum. Go get it. Yes, I would like for that to change about your game. But in terms of like always playing hard, those guys play both ends of the floor. They're always available. They don't dog it. You never hear that, load management stuff with those two guys. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's not attached to those two guys. So, I don't know. I just, they're trying to create something that shouldn't be there. Lord have mercy, keep them young guys together. Kendrick Perkins just said it's difficult to repeat. And what have I been saying to you, the last couple times? When's the last time we had a back-to-back? Golden State. That was in 18. 2018 is a very long time ago. COVID makes it seem like 10 years ago, right? Like, it feels so he's right. Teams are getting better. But if I felt like any team was in the best position to repeat, it's this team. It's definitely this team. I didn't think Denver was going to do that. I think I told you that. Like, they didn't upgrade. They weren't going to be better. I didn't think the Lakers were going to repeat. I didn't think Milwaukee was going to repeat in 21. We damn sure didn't think Golden State was coming back after that 22 run. We felt like that. All right, that was it. Put a bow on that. Ride off into the dusk. What's my man from the Westerns? What's my man name from the Westerns?
Clint Eastwood?
John Wayne.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, just ride off into the sunset, man.
I think the Lakers were the last team that had a chance to repeat the most or the best. I love their defense going into the next season. They still had a lot of those pieces together. That was before the Russell Westbrook trade. Then AD got hurt and they lost to the Phoenix Suns when the Phoenix Suns went to the championship to play the Bucks. But the Celtics do have a chance to repeat because they're still that good and they're waiting for Porzingis in the wings.
Yeah.
But I also think I don't think they got better. I don't think that they added any pieces. I think that I saw that the team is for sale and they locked in all these players with an absurd amount of money. Like, they're all maxed out basically, and it's your core four, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, but Jrue Holiday got 1 or 2 years of Jrue Holiday left, in my opinion. Jaylen Brown is getting better, and what scares me more than anything else, forget about all that, is Jason Tatum was never. Even the last couple of months, it's been the speculation of where did his shooting go? Where did his shooting go? And it's still
go Google it right now, Fabe. I need to stop you real quick because I just read the report. There's a report I forget who reported it, but Drew Hanlon and Jason Tatum have been working tirelessly on improving mechanics of his jump shot. So apparently there's just some stuff going on with form, mechanics, all that type of stuff that he's diligently right now trying to correct. Because what he shot in the Olympics, if you go back to the percentages, we could talk about him not playing and Kerr not playing him, but when he didn't shoot it well. He didn't shoot it well.
Including the playoffs.
He wasn't shooting the ball well. Not high percentages like he normally does. Like, he didn't shoot it over 45%. He didn't. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there was a report that came out that said that he's getting, he's doing some fine tuning.
Jason Tatum has been working on his jump shot with his longtime trainer, Drew Hanlon. Jason Tatum's three-point shooting fell off a cliff towards the end of last season, 2023-2024. The three all-time NBA first-team forward took a total of 175 three-point shots between the start of April and the end of the postseason in June. He averaged 28.7 during that time period. At Media Day, the NBA champion and two-time Olympic gold medalist confirmed that he's been working on his shot. Been working with my trainer, Drew, a lot recently in the last few weeks. Pickup points, hand placement, getting lower, keeping my shoulders forward and things like that. There were some things I could have fixed, but in the midst of the playoffs, trying to manage your rest, it's a little bit tougher. I was still playing well. I just wasn't shooting the ball as well as I would have liked. And obviously we were winning. So it wasn't the time or the place to try to fix those things in that moment. And that's just what scares me. Now the Celtics are starting to scare me because Tatum is a guy that, yes, I love Jalen Brunson. Yes, he was a top 6 MVP candidate, but there's no reason why SGA had a better season than Jason Tatum last year. He just shouldn't, because unless Tatum is having an off, he's not as motivated. He doesn't get to his spots like SGA either. SGA is becoming a crafty dude. And Jason Tatum has all the capabilities in the world of being more crafty. And I get he is the engineer of the offense. That offense is run through him. The driving kick, similar to James Harden a little bit, but his long arms, being able to kick the ball out from underneath the basket, like those are things that I don't know how many people could do in the NBA besides the Lucas of the world who could pass like I don't say like magic, but just extremely well. I don't want to see Jason Tatum motivated. I don't want to say I don't believe in him. Selfishly, I don't, Flea. Like, as a basketball fan, of course you want to see greatness. He's perfectly capable of being the best player in the NBA. More so than SGA and Jason Tatum should not be a conversation. Luka and Jason Tatum, for me personally, should not be a conversation. I always compare them to Paul George, Lamar Odom, T-Mac. Paul George could have, of course, LeBron is there. It's tough to be the best player. But T-Mac could have been the best player in the game. Jason Tatum has a chance, man. He's 6'9", 6'10".
Well, here's my issue with how we assess Tatum. Tatum is just now coming into his prime. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, people have expedited his growth because all they've been doing over there in Boston is win. Right? All they've been doing since he got there is win. They finally won the big one last year, and that's year 6, 7. My issue with that dude is that, yes, he's a Kobe disciple. And what I mean by that is growing up, watching him, being enamored by him, having the opportunity to train with him, all that kind of stuff. Yes, I understand that, you cut from that tree. Kobe Bryant was the best tough shot maker I think we've ever seen in the NBA.
Yes. Me and Fish were just talking about that the other day. Yeah.
Right? To take some of the toughest shots we've ever seen, and in your heart of heart that's going in. Because he hits tough shots. That was Bean. Let me help y'all understand something. And Bean is my favorite player of all time. He was not an efficient scorer. He wasn't a guy that shot high percentages from the field or three. He just didn't. That doesn't take away from his greatness, but that was him. And he was he put himself in a position to be able to get away from that, get away with that rather, because he's going to hit timely shots. He's going to play, keep you in games. He's going to win games for you. Tatum can't become that guy that just takes tough shots, and that's all he does. Sidestep three-pointers, step back, 180 jump shots off of the back leg and off that, all that stuff. The abilities that that dude has, he could be as efficient as Kevin Durant. It's not Kevin Durant. Not Kevin Durant. He is not him. But he could be as efficient if his shot selection changed. We talk about it all the time, Fabian. He lets defenders off the hook time and time again because he gets to a spot 18 feet away from the basket when you could get 5 feet from the basket and own your matchup. 48 minutes owning your matchup. I go back to that season, he averaged 30. He was the first Boston Celtic to average 30, I think, since Bird. Did Bird ever average 30? Maybe, I think. That sounds right. But he was the first Celtics to average 30 in a long time. It probably was Bird. But I go back.
You mentioned it before. It is Bird.
It is Bird. Okay. So, but I go back to that season, bro. Less tough shots, less fadeaway jumpers. He was getting to it. He was getting to it. That's why when, you know, he fizzled out in the finals and in the it was like, well, damn, he had such a great. All the shot selections that he was taking in the finals were completely different than what he was doing the entire season. So that's my only gripe with that young man. Take advantage of the matchups every single night, because 9 times out of 10, whatever team y'all playing, they have nobody to defend you, to stop you, right?
Well, we stand corrected. Jason Tatum is the first player in Celtics history to average 30-plus points per game in an NBA season.
First guy, see?
That's cool. I think the KD is more of a stretch because that's like KD's been doing that his whole life. It feels like. I think the Kawhi, Michael Jordan, Kobe is more his lane. I don't know if he's too. I don't want to go all Dusty Baker, and if his lower, if he has the lower build to really push these guys back, it feels like not that he's weak, but when you play, I'm not gonna say he's Karl Anthony Towns, but there's a not giving up, but there's just like it feels like when you got to put the footwork in that mid range, it feels like way more work and way more skillful and way more effort. And I see him being potentially more Kawhi, Kobe, Jordan than Kevin Durant, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying. I just felt like his efficiency could rival Kevin Durant's because he just get easier shots.
And right? Kawhi.
Right. Just if you're taking 6 threes a game, it's okay to take 3 or 4.
Like SGA.
Right.
From 6 threes to 2.
The other side of this too, Fabian, is that the NBA has turned into an analytics thing, and it's turned into GMs and president of basketball operations having things to say about what's happening on the court, having influence on how you're making decisions on a court as a coach, assistant coach, strength and conditioning coach, developmental coaches. Like all of those guys are now influenced by these stat geeks and guys that just crunch numbers. Well, the games that Jason Tatum takes 7 or more threes, the Boston Celtics win by 8 points. Like, bro, take better shots. Take better shots. Because when the finals come, when the playoffs come, and the court starts shrinking, and you got to be able to get to your bread and butter, 2 or 3 spots in the court that nobody in the world can stop you. Tatum every time I see him, it doesn't look like he has that. He doesn't have something that he could get to that you, me, the best defender in the world, God, nobody could stop him. He don't go to that.
And the first player I thought of when you said that is Julius Randle, who doesn't have a go-to, which is why he struggles in crunch time. Because what are you going to when all the pressure's on you? You're going to go with what's your habits. But Julius Randle and SGA in the face of the analytics world did start taking less 3-pointers and start taking more shots in the paint. Last season, that was with Julius Randle, and I don't care what the number said before that. That was our favorite Randle was last year before he got hurt. SGA SGA took that leap 2 seasons ago, and ever since then he's turned into an MVP candidate. If Tatum does that, I'm like I said, I'm totally scared because he's not even a real top 3 MVP candidate. I don't think he's ever been. He might have been top 3,
maybe at some point.
He went to the finals, but
yeah.
But he still didn't scare me because he did leave it on the table. He did leave the paint out of the table because you're controlling the free throw to me, which is like the line of scrimmage in a sense for in the NBA. Like if you control the free throw line, it's a wrap.
And Ray, and that's I'm feeling what you're saying. Like if Tatum, there was a big thing when Melo was a Knick, right? And we could address this on Knicks Rehab. But my biggest thing with Melo when he was a Knick was when you get the rock, you massaging that thing too much. Nothing happens for the next 6 to 7 seconds because you got it and the ball stops. Tatum gets the rock, make your decision in 3 seconds or less. What you gonna do with it? You gonna put it on the floor, you gonna rise over your defender, you gonna get the hockey assist. Make your decision in 3 seconds or less, man. It can't be a dance, ha 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 ha, dance. I don't need that from you. Nobody can guard you. Get to your spot, get a bucket, and go get another stop. That's my issue with him. Get it and go. You should know by the time Jaylen Brown or whoever it is that's swinging you the rock, you should know as soon as you get the rock, what am I getting to? If I'm in the short corner, if I'm foul line extended, if I'm top of the key, if I'm in the dunker spot, wherever I'm at, I get the rock. I need to know what I'm doing in 3 seconds or less.
Right. That's how I feel about him.
Yeah, he just doesn't do that for me.
That's why LeBron is such an anomaly because he got away with a lot of that for his whole career. Because he did work on some of his post game, but it's not magical. It's not what it should be, in my opinion. But you get away with that when you're a alien. He's a damn alien, and Tatum is teetering on alien. And if he gets anywhere near this, like if he's really motivated to shoot better and to really just get more of a mid range game, whatever it is, it scares me. He's finished in the top 5 one time, and it was the 2022-2023 season. So that was 2 seasons ago. All-Star, All-NBA first. He's been on All-NBA first team 3 straight years. On All-NBA third team in his third year.
No other person in the NBA has done that. If you look at the last All-NBA, if you look at the last 3 All-NBA first teams, he's the only one consistent on the team the last 3 years. It's all changed over the last 3 years. He's the constant.
AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.